Students, welcome to your economics class, chapter 1 Development. The main learning objectives of this chapter that we are going to study in this chapter is the meaning of development and underdevelopment, indicators of human development, and gender related development. Children, development has many aspects. The purpose of this chapter is to enable you to understand this idea. You have to understand that people have different perspectives on development, and there are ways by which we can arrive at common indicators for development. To do this we have used situations that can respond to in an intuitive manner. We have also presented analysis that is more complex and macro in nature. How can countries or states be compared using some selected development indicators is another question that may arise. The students would read about, you will be reading about this in this chapter. Economic development can be measured, and income is the most common method for measuring the development. However, the income method, though useful, has several weaknesses. Hence, we need newer ways of looking the development using indicators of quality of life and the environment substantially. It is necessary for us to accept the necessary for us to accept and to respond actively on this topic, such as there would be a wide variation in the opinion and possibility of debate. So, by the end of this chapter section, there are a few questions and activities which are there, children, where one will be you have to recap the ideas that has been discussed in the section, and second, they will be enable better understanding of the themes that has been discussed by bringing the learners closer to the real life situations. There are certain terms which are used in this chapter that would require clarification: per capita income, literacy rate, infant mortality rate, attendance rate, life expectancy, and also human development index. Though the data pertaining to these terms are provided, these would need further explanation. You may also need to clarify the concept of purchasing power parity that is used to calculate the per capita income. It is necessary to keep in mind that these terms are used as an aid to the discussion and not something to be memorized, children. So, now we will move on to the sources of information. The data from this chapter which is being taken, we will be having some of the reports which has been published by the National Family Health Survey and the Handbook of Statistics on the Indian Economy and United Nations Development Program and World Bank. Many of these reports are being published every year. It may be interesting to look up these reports if they are available in our school library. If not, you may log on the websites of these institutions. So, data is available from the Reserve Bank Handbook of Statistics on Indian Economy. So, now let us move in detail. This is just an introduction of the lesson. Now, we will move on to the chapter. Children, the idea of development or progress has always been with us. We have aspirations or desires about what we would like to do and how we would like to live. Similarly, we have ideas about what a country should be like. What are the essential things that we require? Can life be better for all? How should people live together? Can there be more equality? Development children involves thinking about these questions and about the ways which we can work towards achieving these goals. This is a complex task, and in this chapter, we shall make a beginning at understanding development. You will learn more about these issues in greater depth in the higher classes. You will find the answers to many of these questions not just in economics but also in the course of history and political science. This is because that we live today is influenced by the past. Children, we can't desire for change without being aware of this. In the same way, it is only through the democratic political process that the hopes and possibilities can be achieved in real life, children. So, what development? When we tell development, children, what do we mean by the word development? Let us try to imagine what development or progress is likely to be mean to different persons. So, for example, the landless rural laborers, more days of work, better wages, and local school is able, the development goals and aspirations of these landless laborers provide quality, the local school is able to provide quality education for the children. There is no social discrimination and they too become leaders in the village. Then we are having a girl from, from a rich urban family. She gets much freedom as her brother and is able to decide what she wants to do in life. She is able to pursue her studies abroad. When I gave two examples of this, one is about the landless rural laborers, and another one is a girl from a rural urban family. Do all these people have the same notion of development or progress, children? No, isn't it? Each one of them seek different things. They seek things that are most important for them, that is, that which can fulfill their aspirations or desire. In fact, at times two persons or group of persons may seek things which are conflicting. A girl accepts as much as freedom and opportunity as her brother, and that he also shares in the household work. Her brother may not like this. Similarly, to get more electricity, industrialists may want more dams, but this may submerge the land and disrupt the life of people who are displaced, such as tribals. They might resent this and may prefer small check dams or tanks to irrigate their lands. So, two things are quite clear. One is the different persons can have different development goals. And the second one, what may be the development for one may not be the development for the other. It may be even the destructive for the others' children. So, from this we come to know the word development. The word development refers to the progress in a particular field. And it might be the rural development, social development, educational development, women and children development. Whenever the economic activities Whenever the economic activities in a country expand, we call that as an economic development, children. Whenever the economic activities expand, we call it as economic development. The process of economic development is a complex phenomena and not so easy to define. So, according to children, Professor Mayer and Baldwin, economic development is a process whereby an economy's real national income increases over a long period. The definition highlights three things here, children. Which are those three things? One is the process, another was an increase in the real national income, and the third one is the over a longer period. Now let us study one by one. When I tell process, what do we mean by process, children? What do we mean by process? The term process here refers to the operation of the forces operation of the process that brings about the change in the supply of factors of production and in the structure of demand demand for the products and changes in the factors of supply that takes place due to the why this it grows because of the why there is a the structure of why there is a demand for this for this product, because there is a population growth. Changes in the factors takes place because of the discovery of the additional resources, education, skill development, all these have been developed. That is why there is a process. And capital accumulation, population growth, adoption of better techniques of production. So, demands for products change due to the change in the size and the composition of population, level and distribution of income, and the tastes of the people changes from one person to the another person. So, these changes contribute to an increase in the national income. Now, let us move on to the real national income. Real national income. What do we mean by real national income? This you have studied in your 8th standard. So, the national income is the total value of all the goods and services that are produced during a year. We call that as a national income. So, this is a 1 marks question. And one more is you are having the per capita income. What is per capita income? The national income divided by population, we get the per capita income. This is also an 1 marks question for you children. So, when it is an important, the national income is an important measure for the economic development. So, when the national income is high, then the economic development is high. When the national income is low, then the economic development is low. So, the more emphasis here is given on the real development, What do we mean by real real, which refers to the purchasing power of the income. What does the real refer here? It refers to the purchasing power of the income. The prices, see children, the prices are always not the same, isn't it? It differs. Today it might be high, tomorrow it might be less, again after 1 week it might be very high than this week. So, when the prices have the tendency to rise over time, when we estimate the income based on the increased prices, the values or the incomes are inflated. What should we do? We should remove the increased price effect to arrive the real increase in the income. So, this price adjusted income reflects the true purchasing power of the income. The importance of maintaining price stability in promoting the development. So, next we are having long period. Long period, what do we mean by long period, children? Can you tell me what is long period? Yeah, long period means it for a very long time. It might be for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So that we call as a long period in economics. So the short term spurts is speed. When the short term speed in income are not considered as development, means within 1 year or 2 years of the development, it might not be taken as an development. The changes, when there is the changes in supply of in the factors of production, and when the demand for goods and services is continuous in order to bring about the increase in the income over the long period. So the whenever we tell whenever we tell, it is not that the income that the development is for a short period. It should go on for a long process. Then we tell there is a development. So Professor Colin Clark, he defines the economic development as an improvement in the economic welfare. So what do we mean by economic welfare? Economic welfare is the availability of the goods and services which are used by the individuals. So that we call it as economic welfare. So improving the economic welfare of the people. We have to improve the economic welfare of the people. How can we improve? Means we had to reduce the economic ills. So what are these economic ills here that we had to bring down? That is illiteracy, that is like poverty, illiteracy, unemployment. All these should be reduced. So we may describe economic development as a process that extends over a long period, that which helps reducing the poverty, and like this it helps a country to achieve self-sustained growth in the income. The main objectives of the economic development has been broadened into two. One is we are having the inclusive and the sustainable development. When I tell inclusive development, what do we see? Difference between inclusive and sustainable development is for 2 marks. They might ask for inclusive development for 1 marks and sustainable development for 1 marks. 1 plus 1 it is. When I tell that every person is benefited by the process of development, ensuring means promising that every person gets the benefit by the process of development, then we tell that as an inclusive development. Inclusive. So what do we mean by sustainable development? When we preserve the natural resources and the environment for the benefit of the future children, for the future generation, that we call as sustainable development. The objectives of the economic development are, again this is a 3 marks question. The objectives of economic development are firstly increasing income, secondly attaining equality, third one reducing poverty, fourth one unemployment and inequality, fifth one conserving the resources and environment, and lastly enhancing overall welfare of all. We see that the countries like Canada, USA, Germany, England, Japan, Australia and the countries of Western Europe, they have witnessed for a long time rise of incomes before 1950. And the countries like Singapore, Malaysia, China, Hong Kong and many other countries have witnessed long-term rise in the increase in the incomes during the post 1950s. Post means after 1950s. So these countries are called as developed countries. Now we will move on to the underdevelopment. What do we mean by underdevelopment, children? Can you tell that? What do we mean by underdevelopment? Can anyone tell? Yeah, underdevelopment means the word underdeveloped denotes a backward or a stagnant uh, backward or a stagnant situation where the levels of the people where the levels of the living people are low due to the lower per capita income, and the productivity is also low, and also there is a high population. So, according to the United Nations, it defines an underdeveloped country is the one whose real per capita income is lower than that of the USA, Canada, Australia and Western Europe. Those such countries are called as underdevelopment. Here is emphasize here is more on the low income level. So, relative to the advanced country, the underdeveloped nations are capable of development, and they are also making efforts to overcome the problems of lower income, of low level income, poverty. So, they are now, we call those as a developing countries. The World Bank, children, the World Bank in its World Development Report classifies the country as high, medium and low income countries, and all the countries with a middle and low income are referred to as the developing countries. Can you tell me now, India, where does it stand? Yeah, India stands in the middle income. So that it shows that we are a developing country, and India is also developing significantly from the rise, and there is also rise in the income since the 1919. Now we will move on to the national income, what I told. Now we will move on to the indicators of development. We now we tell there is a development. How can you tell that there is a development in the country? How can we tell? We can tell the economists have advocated different indicators, and one of them is the income generated in the country, and this results in the indicator other than the income. Now we will move on to the income indicator. Children, you might ask, if development can mean different things, how come some countries are generally called developed and others underdeveloped, isn't it? Before we come to this, let us consider another question. When we compare different things, they could have similarities as well as differences. Which aspect do we use to compare them? Let us look at the students in the class itself, children. How do we compare different students? They differ in height, health, talents and interest, isn't it? The healthiest student may not be the most studious one. The most intelligent student may not be friendliest one. So how do we compare students? The criterion we may use depends on the purpose of comparison. We use different criterion to choose a sports team, a debate team, a music team or a team of organize a picnic. Still, if for some purpose we had to choose the criterion for all round progress of children in the class, how shall we do it? So, usually what we do, we take one or more important characteristics of a person and compare them based on these characters. Of course, there can be differences about what are important characteristics, what should form the basis of comparison. friendliness, and the spirit of cooperation, creativity, or marks security. This is true for development to children. For comparing countries, their income is considered to be the one of the most important attributes. Countries with higher income are more developed than the others with less income. This is based on the understanding that more income means more of all the things that human beings need. Whatever people like and should have, they will be able to get with a greater income. So, greater the income itself is considered to be one of the important goal. Now, what is the income of the country? A question arises. Intuitively, the income of the country is the income of all the residents of the country. This gives us the total income of the country. However, for comparison between countries, the total income is not such an useful measure. Since countries have different populations, comparing total income will not tell us what an average person is likely to earn. Are people in one country better off than in the other countries? That is why we had to compare the average income, which is the total income of the country divided by its total population. The average income is called as the per capita income. In the World Development Reports brought out by the World Bank, this criterion is used in classifying the countries. Countries with per capita income of US dollars 49,300 per annum and above in 2019 are called high income or rich countries, and those per capita income of US dollars less than US dollars 2,500 or less are called as low income countries. India comes in the category of low middle income countries because the per capita income in 2019 was US dollars 6,700 per annum. The rich countries, excluding countries of Middle East and certain other small countries, are generally called the developed countries. So, in the next class, children, we will move on to the in the detail the income indicator. We will continue with the income indicator. Income indicator development because will continue how the per capita income is we can take that also for as the for the development of the country. So I will stop it here, children. Thank you.